and welcome to the Content Bite. We're a podcast for freelancers who use their words to make money. I'm Lynn Testoni, and I'm a writer, content creator, and journalist. And my co-host is, of course, the super impressive Rachel Smith. Hi, Rachel.
Super impressive. That's really nice. I don't feel very super impressive at the moment.
I always think you're super impressive.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Hello, everybody listening. I'm Rachel Smith, as Lynn said, founder of the jobs board Rachel's List, and I'm also a freelance journalist, copywriter, and content producer. And it's really great. We're getting back into the swing of it. I think this is our second episode of Season 5, and we had a little break, but now we're back into it. We're talking about an interesting topic in terms of getting back into it. We're talking about getting your mojo back, because I think there's a lot of people out there with no mojo, or they're chasing their mojo, or they had their mojo and it's disappeared and they're looking for it.
Yes.
Yeah, we all know it's, we're living in the unmentionable year that will never be talked about again once it's over.
We'll call it the Voldemort year.
I know, yeah, the Annus Horribilis. Is that how you say that? Annus Horribilis.
Yeah, it is.
So I don't know. I think it's been really difficult for everybody out there to try and stay positive these last few months, and it's not always easy. And we wanted to share some of our tips, which might seem a bit weird or random or basic, but they're things that kind of work for us, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. Because I do think that the atmosphere at the moment is a bit depressing and quite draining to keep your emotional energy up. And actually, Rachel, I think the funny thing was when I was thinking about this and doing some research about how to get your mojo back, I did all this research about tips and everything, and I felt quite inspired, and it did actually make me get my mojo back a bit just doing the research.
Well, that can be tip 1. Go and research how to find your mojo.
Yeah,
you might find it. Okay, well, you start. I know you've got a really good one.
When I'm out walking Daphne, I find listening to something really positive on the podcast. I don't necessarily listen to things that are about work. And one of my favourite podcasts at the moment is How to Fail by Elizabeth Day. Now, actually, despite its name, it's a really positive podcast, and it talks about really successful people, and they talk about their failures and where they went wrong and what they learned. And I find it a really encouraging and uplifting podcast, and it sort of helps get rid of my inner perfectionist, I think. And sometimes I listen to a lighthearted audio book as well. I'm usually, at the moment, I'm a bit of I'm right near the end of Michelle Obama's autobiography, which is on Audible, and she's quite inspiring, and I find that really good. What about you, Rach?
Yeah, look, I love the Positive podcast as well, and I really love Elizabeth Day too. But I found that recently I have gone off podcasts a bit. I don't know why, but I started just on my morning walk, I just started trying to swap podcasts for music, a lot of really upbeat music, and I'm trying to do an hour's walk every morning, and I found a few workout podcasts on Spotify. And, I think we all know, like, the effects of music. It can be so powerful on the brain. There are so many studies about it. And I have found that works for me hugely, because I wasn't really listening to music. I think if you work from home, you're not in the car so much. You're not commuting and listening to music as much as other people might do. So I really consciously had to try and listen to it, because I just wouldn't put it on at home or anything like that. And it has had a massive effect on my motivation, getting into work in the morning and just not feeling glum. So I used to do all the podcasts when I was walking, but at the moment I've kind of moved into my music phase.
Music. Oh, that's nice. It's good to mix it up too. I also try and start the day with a win. Like, I take Daphne for a walk and try and do something I'm good at at the beginning. So if I wake up stressed or a bit down, sometimes a bit anxious, I usually go for a morning run. And then this is really bad, but I do feel quite smug afterwards, thinking like, I've already done something good. Yeah. So, but doing something good for myself. And if it's really tough, and sometimes it's really hard to do a run, but if I just say to myself, look, I'll just do 2 kilometres. I won't do the full run. And inevitably when I get out there, I end up running the 5 or 6 that I normally run, just because once you're out there, it's not that hard to keep going. And then I feel really good because I've overachieved the 2 kilometres. So I'm feeling good about myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think it's all about getting off your bum. I think we really do need to commit to getting off our bottoms as much as possible. But yes, my next tip is this really interesting reverse psychology tip. It sort of ties in with someone I interviewed this week. You'll be interested in this actually.
Okay, share.
Yeah, so I interviewed Jason Minty from that gorgeous Potts Point homewares store, Becca Minty. They do gifts and homewares and vintage and all kinds of gorgeous furniture and they have all, designers coming through to get stuff for their clients, and it's just amazing. Anyway, he was telling me, because I said, how do you not take everything home with you? And he was telling me that whenever he touched something in the store that he was really tempted to take home with him, it sold immediately or the next day.
Oh, really? How funny.
Yeah, and it just become this funny thing with him and his stuff. And I just thought that's total reverse psychology. And I actually do that in my business in a bit of a different way. But I find if I'm in a slump or I'm not getting any work or, there's no one replying to my pictures or my letters of introduction or whatever, I just go, right, I'm going to go to the movies, or I'm going to spend the entire day working on my website. Yay, I've got a whole day for my website. And I always find the minute that I commit to something that's not work, whether that's working on my website, going to the beach or having lunch with a friend, going on a holiday, but also going for lunch. Like if I commit to going for lunch with someone, work will suddenly pop in, it'll be urgent. I really need this by tomorrow. I know that sounds really hippie and there's probably a lot of people out there rolling their eyes right now, but I urge you to try it. Just say, stuff it. I'm going to go and do this, and go and pack your beach bag. And the minute you do, I bet the phone rings or an editor says, I really need this and I need it tomorrow. Do you ever think stuff like that, or are you rolling your eyes and thinking that she's...
No. I think it's true, isn't it? I think sometimes maybe when you take a break and just pull back from the anxiety of it all, that makes a big difference. I don't know how it works, but yes. And also I think giving yourself permission to have a day off. Like we don't have to work every day. That's the joy of being a freelancer. Sometimes I work on a Saturday if I need to, but, that means I can have the Tuesday off if things just aren't working or it's just not happening for me. So giving yourself permission is a really important thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I do like a to-do list occasionally. I mean, I know you love a to-do list. You're more into this than me. Yes. But I also sometimes try and just do something, the easiest thing on my to-do list, something really easy. So I feel like I'm actually getting somewhere. When you feel like you're a bit stuck, I might be just making a phone call. And sometimes when I'm a bit in a slump, I'll write really naff things like phone calls, or I email you a list of podcast stuff because I quite like doing that, ideas and everything. And perhaps just upload a client's image to their Instagram account, something really easy. Mm-hmm. And I just feel quite good to cross something off that list first thing. And if things are really bad, I start putting basic stuff, on the list, like sending an invoice or setting up an interview.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I've definitely got those more minor tasks on my list, but I think there's definitely something in that, being able to cross stuff off your list works somehow for kicking you into, a more motivational mindset doing things.
It is really hard if you've only got really big things on your to-do list, like
I know,
write a 500 word article in 2 hours or something. It's just not.
Yeah. I mean, so you could put super easy things on, like have a shower or eat breakfast, just so you've got stuff to cross off. But is that taking things to really ridiculous levels maybe?
I don't know. I have heard on one of my positive podcasts that people do this for a quick burst of satisfaction, and I think, well, whatever works. Sometimes also I do the opposite, where I actually do something really hard that's been on my to-do list for ages. Like doing taxes or updating my website, something that's been sitting there for a while, because you don't realise how much it sort of makes you feel a bit down by not having stuff you haven't got around to. Doing one of those things makes you feel heaps better, takes a bit of pressure off, I think, lightens your load a bit.
Yes. Well, for my next tip, I want to talk about my new pet. It's actually Charlie's pet, my kid's pet, but it's actually secretly my pet because...
Less secretly. I think watching your Instagram feed, there's a lot of birds on that.
He has no interest in the budgie. So the budgie needs love and it needs someone to bond with and attach to, and that has become me.
That would be you.
I have to say, having a pet, I haven't had a pet for about 30 years, and having a real pet, you know, in the house that I'm training, I've only just managed to get him to sit on my finger. It's been a month. And having him out and chirping and just like eating my notes on the desk, or, you know, pushing my pens off the desk because that's fun for him and it's funny for me. It has really like boosted my mood and made me feel so much happier about working, I suppose, in a weird sort of way, because I have that distraction and something to do.
Oh, I get that. I talk about Daphne, my dog, all the time, and having a companion at home is really nice, particularly when you're freelancing and you're working from home at a desk, and it can be a bit isolating. Plus, also with the dog, I take Daphne for a walk and get my coffee in the morning. Because of Daphne, I've got to know the whole neighbourhood, and then you feel a lot more connected to people. And there is a lot of research to say the more connected, even superficially, with people in your neighbourhood or community, that makes it you feel a lot better. And dogs are really good. I swear that if you're having a rough time, particularly with my daughter, if she's having a rough time, Daphne always seems to know and goes up and gives her lots of extra cuddles or nuzzles into her, and I think that's really lovely.
I know. And birds are the same. Once they bond to you, it's really lovely having a little bird on your shoulder, or
Yes.
you know, just hanging around you while you're working.
I can hear Alan chirping in the background there.
I know, she chirps away. I actually thought, I said to Phil last night, you know, maybe we should get a Quaker parrot, like for a friend. But then I actually did some research, and there's lots of research out there that Quaker parrots can kill budgies. So
Oh, right, don't do that.
I won't be getting a Quaker parrot. But, you know, it's very nice to just have a little budgie around. So that has helped my mojo, my motivation through the roof, really.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Did you have one more tip?
I did. Well, my next tip, I've got a couple more, but my next tip sounds really shallow, but it does work, I promise. And that's, to me, is wearing something that makes you feel good. Because at the moment it does feel like that we're all living in tracky dacks. I'm not going up for meetings or dressing up, but sometimes I just dress up a little bit, a nice pair of trousers, a pretty top, a bit of makeup. It does make me feel nicer and a bit more professional. Maybe this is too personal. Whenever I'm having a bad day, I make sure I'm wearing really nice underwear. So I'm wearing something pretty, something that makes me feel good. Nobody else needs to know, but it makes me feel good. And
I think it's very, you know, I think we underestimate how important good undies are. You know, like if you've got the bad undies on and you're hitching them up all day and they're constantly like falling down, it can really affect how you feel.
It can.
That's up to Alan.
It's maybe too much information, but there you are. It does actually make a difference. And I certainly got that tip from somebody when I was a parent, right as being a new mother, and somebody told me that, and I've kept it ever since. It's a great thing.
It is really true.
And I also find reading a great book helps. And actually, I try fiction, nothing work related, but I find that reading some good writing gets me inspired and about creating good writing. And like it's a beautiful turn of phrase, a nice structure. It really makes me happy. And I think it inspires me to write better and feel excited about writing. Do you find that?
Yep, I've totally just got back into books because I got a Kindle for my birthday. And I realised once I started using the Kindle that I hadn't really been reading properly for a long time. Like I would dip in and out of books and try and read books at the same time and try and read a business book and a fiction book at the same time and then the rest of the time I was just reading stuff on the internet or working. So I was never actually diving into something and becoming immersed in it. And now I'm so back into it, and it's become something really important to do at night. If I'm putting Charlie to bed, I can read my Kindle while he's, you know, in bed going to sleep, and I just absolutely relish that time now, whereas before I was always lying there going, oh, I've got so much to do, I've got to get back to my computer. Now I'm like, no, this is my reading time. And it's just I think that's really helped. And again, there's lots of research, isn't there, that reading improves memory.
Yes.
And it makes you feel more positive, doesn't it? And I think it can even I read somewhere recently that it could even reduce your risk of developing Alzheimer's. I don't know if that's true, but
sounds nice.
Something about the neural pathways.
Yeah, exactly. And I do think, and also we all know in this time particularly, or any time, there's such a temptation to do all that doom scrolling, as we call it, on Facebook or Instagram, or reading stuff online. And it's so much better to pull away from it and just read some fiction or a book that, as you say, get immersed in a different world. It's much nicer.
Yeah, it definitely does change how you feel. That's completely helped. So, yes, so good undies, have a pet, read a book, get off your bum. What was the other one? I'm going to go back.
And the other thing I wanted to say is that
reverse psychology.
Reverse psychology.
Yeah.
And also, look, we're a bit different because I'm such an extrovert and I get energy from speaking to people and being out. You get energy from, being quieter and sort of, nesting, I think. Is that true?
I do like speaking to people.
Yeah. But, oh, no. That's not what I meant. That's maybe a bit
like
harsh.
A hermit.
But, I do get energy from speaking to people, and I love the thing about taking the dog for an extended walk around the neighbourhood. And I have quite a few elderly neighbours, and they're feeling quite isolated at the moment. And when I check in with them, I realise how lucky I am, that I really am privileged. And I think it's really nice. And they're always so lovely, and it makes me, get a nice warm feeling, fuzzy feeling after that. Yeah.
Well, it might surprise you to hear that I have a lot of elderly neighbours myself.
Yes.
And they are always walking by me. Like, there's a big Greek contingent around my street and around sort of that part of Newtown. And they're always walking along, getting their groceries or whatever. And they don't speak any English at all. But every single morning I say, hello, how are you? Have a good day. And they go, thank you very much. That's all they say. But it's a nice little interaction. I agree. I think you've got to say hi to people in your neighbourhood. I think it's eyes down and, yeah.
Yes. And the nice thing, of course, with the dog is that people always say hi to the dog, even if they don't say hi to me, because a dog is way less threatening or,
well, your dog is. There are lots of threatening dogs out there.
Yeah, exactly. And also she makes friends with all the sort of the emo youths in the cemetery when we do the walk around the cemetery. Yes, they all love her too.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's so lovely.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's enough tips. Well, that brings us to the end of all our tips, doesn't it?
It does, but I think it's about just trying to change your mindset and being positive. And I think, it's a bit of a long slog out there at the moment, but I think there's lots of ways to get all excited and get inspired again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. We'll pop some of these down in the show notes and a few things we've mentioned, and we will see you next week.
Terrific. Okay.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.